People have been talking about pole shift in this country and around the world for quite a few years, and I've been asked multiple times to address the subject. It's never really been something that's been high on my list of things to do, given that I don't know anyone who's ever lived through one, and to my knowledge, there aren't any history books documenting it. So to be able to speak on it with any level of authority or um, believability would be almost impossible. But I did find something, and it's anecdotal information through some independent research, and I wanted to share it with my audience and get your thought on it. Now, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. All right. We've been talking about Brazil lately, right? Well, I was searching through Brazil, and I found out in the middle of nowhere this place labeled, and I kid you not, Polo Norte. Out in the middle of Brazil. I'll zoom out here to show you where it is. Extreme West Brazil, near the border with Bolivia and Peru. So here's Peru over here. I'll zoom the camera out a little bit. There we go. Here's Bolivia. Here's extreme western Brazil. And if you zoom in, a little town here, I think it's Feio, just northwest of Rio Branco, is this place called Polo Norte. Now, there's literally nothing out here. I mean, absolutely zero things of note out here. It's just wild jungle. So I'm thinking, why in the heck would they name this random spot out in the middle of western Brazil Polo Norte, which of course you don't need to be a Spanish person to know that that means North Pole. Well, I thought, well, if this is the North Pole, I wonder what the South Pole would be. So they have these real cool tools where you can go and put something in, and you can tunnel through, and wherever you put on one side of the map, it'll show you what the other side of the map is. And I've done this. Now over here, and this is freemaptools.com/tunnel to the other side of the earth. So wherever you put this left-hand side map over here, it'll show you on this side where is the exact opposite, what's on the other side. And lo and behold, the other side of the world is the Spratly Islands, where China is building all of this stuff, all this crazy militarized junk, and creating fake islands out in the middle of nowhere and putting military bases on them. You can't make this stuff up. Literally, right, exactly, and you can do this for yourself. You can go to, like I said, freemaptools.com/tunnel to the other side of the earth.htm and find this place, state of Acre in Brazil. And you go out here to the western side and you find this place. It's here's Feio and Senha Madureira, and you'll find Polo Norte. And take that and find it here and put the thing on it, and over here on this map, it'll show you what the exact other side of the earth is. And you can zoom out, and I kid you not, it puts you in the middle of the Spratly Islands. This area here is where we've had all this issue with China. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. Could be a coincidence, I suppose. But don't you think that's strange? It would explain some things. I mean, I'll get you a bigger map here of what the Spratlys are. Here's Vietnam and here's Brunei. And the Spratlys go all through here, and the point was like right here, right at the edge of where this water gets deep. There's this chain of islands, and this was literally the entire area that they had marked on the other side of the planet as Polo Norte. It could mean something, it might not mean something, but it's just the strange thing some years ago that the Chinese just decided all of a sudden they were going to start dredging sand up into giant piles out here in the middle of nowhere. And you can look this up for yourself. I mean, this has been a huge deal for the U.S. And they're saying this about trade, but pictures show China militarization of Spratly Islands. Report, China installs missiles on Spratly Islands. I mean, a lot of my Navy guys know all about this. Been going on for years. Long-range anti-ship and anti-air missiles. I mean, would they want control of the new, what would be, I guess, South Pole? I mean, it would be strange that if we do know that China has been heavily involved in South America, if they knew of a pole shift that was coming and they just so, ended up being in control of both poles of the planet, the new poles, that is, because we all know pole shift is not exact. It's not that the current North Pole and current South Pole are just going to flip. There's going to be two new locations on Earth where these poles are. You just can't make this stuff up. And like I said, I was just looking around in the western part of Brazil, seeing if there was any kind of evidence of a military shift or something that, we could take away from movements in the region. And sure enough, this strange place out in the middle of nowhere named Polo Norte. I mean, who would name the middle of a rainforest Polo Norte unless it meant something? Like I said, I'm going to ask you guys, because like I've said before, I have the smartest, most intelligent, well-informed audience on YouTube, bar none. This is also, it says ARC GIS, Bing Maps Aerial. You can get sometimes a different view of things using this mapping system versus Google. And while you don't get the ocean stuff, sometimes they do the islands a little more accurately. This is the same area out in the Spratlys. And sometimes there are things that Google will cover up that they won't cover up out here. You can get a little bit more detail. And there's, hundreds, if not thousands, of these little tiny islands out here. And I haven't looked at all of them, so if you see something that I miss, don't think that I'm ignoring it on purpose. But, as you can see, China's been very busy. So you would just have to wonder, what would be the motivation. I think it would make perfect sense if they knew. If they knew when pole shift was coming and how it was going to play out and where the next pole shift was going to be, they would, of course, want to mark those things and then make sure that they were in control of both locations. And you can look up the Chinese and the Bolivians. They have quite a few inroads have been made in Bolivia, and that's right here. Now, this western part of Brazil, it is about the most wild, unexplored place you could ever imagine being. There is very, very little out here in the way of any kind of technology or it looks like there's some type of there's a lot of words on the screen here, but trust me, these are nothing but shanties out here in the middle of this jungle. It's still one of those places where you could actually be an explorer in the world. But once again, Polo Norte, can't make this stuff up. North Pole, Brazil. And of course, the other side of the world, the Spratly Islands. I'll let you guys figure this out for yourself, but anyway, map tunneling shows it. Like, share, subscribe.